Coming up.
I remember falling asleep and I wake up. He's strangling me.
She survived a murder attempt.
He's a son of a bitch. I hate him.
By her own father.
What's going through your mind as an 8-year-old child?
I was hoping that it was a nightmare.
But despite a decade of trauma,
The nightmare never ended.
Juliette says the system doesn't care.
It failed. There's really nothing for children from domestic and family violence.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Up until she was 8, Juliette Playford thought she was a normal kid living a normal, happy life. But then everything changed. To escape gambling debts and the fact he'd lost his job, her father decided to murder his family and then take his own life. Tragically, Stephen Playford succeeded in killing his youngest daughter, Sidney, but thankfully failed in his attempt to kill Juliette or her mum, Maria. He also didn't die. Ever since that awful night, Juliette has been trying to heal from the trauma she suffered. And what she's realised is that child survivors of domestic violence don't receive the care they need. Tonight, the now 18-year-old wants to tell Australia why urgent action is needed. This quiet beach on the Brisbane River has always been a favourite spot for Juliette Playford. It was an after-school treat to come here with her little sister Sidney. That is, until their childhood was shattered in the most horrific way.
Sidney was very bubbly and bright. I feel like if she could be related to anything, she'd be like the sun.
For 10 years, Juliette has struggled to overcome a level of grief that's hard to comprehend. In 2015, her father, Stephen Playford, suffocated Juliette's little sister Sidney to death and tried to kill her.
He broke us. He murdered my sister and murdered my innocence. I wasn't a child afterwards.
As a child survivor of domestic violence, Juliette hasn't been able to speak publicly. But now 18, she wants the world to hear what happened to her that fateful night. And equally as important to Juliette, she wants the country to know how the system fails kids like her in crisis.
Everyone was asking my mum how she was, and I was just getting stuffed animals. No one really wanted to talk to me. No one asked me how I was.
It's a frightening and damning statistic. 40% of Australian children, that's 2 out of every 5 kids, are exposed to some form of domestic and family violence. And it's a problem made worse because there's so little help available for young people who need to escape a violent life at home.
The most vulnerable children in the country are being left behind. That's the reality that we're seeing.
The experts concede it's a critical issue. But to understand why Juliette feels so let down, she needs to tell her terrible story. What do you miss the most about Sidney?
Her hugs and her voice. Yeah, I listened. I found a video of her talking and I forgot what she sounded like.
I miss you.
I thought I'd always remember, like, her voice. Been 10 years and I feel like I'm forgetting her. I hate that feeling.
For the first 8 years of her life, Juliette and her family travelled the world. Her dad, Stephen Playford, was a successful mining executive who'd met her mum Maria in Argentina before settling the family in Brisbane. As a little girl, Juliette believed she was being raised in a safe and happy home. But these days, the more she thinks back on her childhood, the more she remembers the truth. Did you feel loved by your dad?
At times. Like, looking back, he sort of reminds me of like a traditional like 60s man. Like, he believed that the women should stay home and look after children, and he believed in smacking us and punishments. It was very much, he was like the authoritarian.
Stephen Playford was also a gambler who, after losing his job in 2014, continued to whittle away the family's savings. Juliette's mother, Maria, asked for a divorce, but stayed after Stephen threatened to take their daughters away.
He had savings to buy a house, a down payment on a house, and he gambled all that away. My mum and him, they got into a big fight about him losing all that money. And she wanted to leave because he wasn't truthful.
Did you ever imagine your dad could hurt you?
Not until it actually happened.
It was a weekend of family celebrations in September 2015 when Juliette's life took a brutal and unexpected turn. It was Sidney's 6th birthday. And on the Sunday, Stephen Playford's 2 little girls showered him with love for Father's Day.
I love you, Dad.
It was a good day. It was a good memory. He cooked dinner for us, and I remember falling asleep.
What nobody knew was that Stephen had crushed up sleeping pills and slipped them into their food. It was the first step in his sinister plan to murder his family and then take his own life.
He himself wanted to die, and he was like, well, I don't want to leave them. And so he justified trying to kill us because what he was planning was a triple murder-suicide. I don't know, I feel like he wanted us to be together in his own sick, twisted way.
Juliette's memory of that night is as vivid as it is terrifying to hear. She was fast asleep in the same bedroom as her little sister when she was suddenly woken by her father.
He's on top of me, he's strangling me, and I get out of his grip by kicking him, and I run out.
She managed to escape, but was quickly caught by her dad, who took her downstairs, where he did the unthinkable.
And he takes out a cylinder of gas from the laundry room, and he puts a mask over me, and I'm trying to stay awake.
Is he saying anything?
He was staring at me, and I remember his eyes just looking directly at me, and I was looking at him, and he had the same face he always had on, which was like a tight-lipped smile.
Stephen then carried Juliette back upstairs, where he continued to attack her.
And he lays behind me, and he strangles me from behind. I managed to get out, and I run, and I get to my mum's room, and I get to the bed. I'm trying to wake up my mum, and he's just yelling through the door. And I'm saying, he tried to kill me, he tried to kill me.
Her mother, Maria, drugged and disorientated, believed her husband when he said Juliette was having a nightmare. They eventually fell asleep safely together while Stephen fled, leaving the mother and daughter to discover the full extent of his sickening crimes the following morning.
It was a Monday and school was going to start. And my mum's screaming. I run to the bedroom. I And my sister's dead on a bed. I just remember them putting like a white sheet or something like that over my head and walking me to the police car.
It was just the start of Juliette's decade of despair. Coming up, surviving the aftermath. What's going through your mind as an 8-year-old child at this point?
I was hoping that it was a nightmare, and the nightmare never ended.
Juliette and her mum Maria faced unimaginable trauma. But thankfully, they've had the Lockyer family there for support.
Yes, I think we've formed a really special relationship, all of us, through a terrible, terrible thing. But
Angela Lockyer is the first to admit, though, the past 10 years haven't been easy.
It's really, really tough. I have 2 daughters, and they were 8 and 6, exactly the same age as when this happened. And, you know, all I could really think of was I couldn't imagine myself being in that position, and that being my own child, and what that would have done to our family.
In 2015, Juliette's father, Stephen Playford, an unemployed mining executive, drugged and murdered her little sister Sidney before trying to kill her. Stephen Playford confessed to his heinous crimes.
Your conduct truly involved despicable acts.
But the pain he inflicted on his surviving daughter didn't end when he was sentenced to life in jail.
I lost everyone. I lost my sister. I lost my dad. I lost my mum. She stopped being a mum after everything happened. And I feel like I lost myself. I wasn't the child anymore.
How do you feel about your dad now?
Can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a son of a bitch. And I hate him for what he did.
In the days and months after that dreadful night, Maria Playford, understandably, could barely cope, let alone take care of Juliette. It's almost like you have to fight to survive it yourself, don't you?
Yes, because I lost my daughter. And at the same time, I need to have the energy to get up, shower, and do things for my other daughter. And it's hard.
They both say navigating the road to recovery has been in many ways as traumatic as the tragedy itself. Juliette says she felt voiceless, especially so because she believes when it comes to services for survivors of domestic violence, kids are more often than not ignored.
Mothers or wives or girlfriends, they're considered the main victims of domestic and family violence. Children are usually the ones who are overlooked.
Juliette desperately needed help, but shamefully, it took 3 years before she could even get an appointment with a psychiatrist.
She actually got in because she wanted to kill herself multiple times, and she cut all her hands, legs, arms, all cut.
So it had to get to that point
Yeah.
before you got in?
Yes. And she was only 11, 10.
I can imagine, Maria, that you would have been terrified of losing her.
I was very raw. Like, I need help. My daughter is cutting herself. She feels like that pain is better than the pain that she has of living with what happened.
Do you think Juliette was treated as a victim in her own right?
No, she wasn't.
What did you learn about the system?
It's not good. It failed us. and it's very possible that it's failing other people.
If anyone knows how let down young survivors feel, it's Connor Paul. His childhood was plagued by family violence from a young age.
I grew up living in a house with my mum and the person using violence, and at 12 years old, my mum and the perpetrator separated, and it was decided that I would live between two homes, and I became the target of abuse.
You don't say the word dad. Is that a choice you made?
It is a choice that I made because I think that title is something that should be earned, and that person didn't earn that title.
How bad did the violence get for you?
It got terribly bad. I was fearful for my life.
Connor was 16 when he finally found the courage to pick up the phone and ask for help. When his call was answered, he expected to be treated as a victim. But to his surprise, he wasn't.
I called a service and their first question was, "Are you a perpetrator?"
What did you say back?
I didn't know what that word meant. I was like, "What do you mean? What does that mean?" And they explained what it meant, and I said, "Well, I'm not that person. Like, I'm calling because of that person and what they've done to me." And their response was, "Well, we can't help you unless your protective parent wants support."
Connor now advocates for children survivors of domestic and family violence.
I think we're a society that likes to think that we value children and young people. I think we have systems and services that by design were set up for adults, predominantly women, and rightly so, but we've forgotten the child. We've built systems and services predominantly around adult victim survivors still.
It's something Connor is determined to change. His story has helped shape Australia's first and only dedicated program for children escaping family abuse. It's called Amplify and is run by Shauna Moore. It's based out of Melbourne City Mission's youth service.
At what point does a young person walk through that door?
It's often the case we might have children turn up in their pyjamas because they've had to escape a violent home or kicked out at night. We've got children coming from school, in their school uniform because they can't go back home safely.
It's a big step to come here, isn't it, for a young person?
It's a really brave step. And
it's not only a safe place to sleep and have something to eat. Amplify also provides crucial support around the unique needs of young people fleeing violence at home. But it's one program in one state, and Shauna says much more needs to be done, especially when suicide is the leading cause of death in 15 to 24-year-olds.
So over the last 10 years, every week, a child who has been known to a homelessness service has died. And many of these children have died by suicide.
The rights of a child are at the centre of Anne Holland's work as Australia's Children's Commissioner.
If we're serious about ending gender-based violence within a generation, which is what the National Plan aims to do officially, then we've got to get serious about stopping violence in childhood.
Anne admires the bravery of Juliette and Connor sharing their experiences to help others. But she's also adamant the federal government needs to do more than just listen to young people. She says Canberra needs to act and do something about it.
What I want is for us as the adults in the room and governments to respond to the voices of young people like them and to make sure that we act on what they tell us.
Do you worry what it will take to get Canberra's attention on this, proper attention?
I have been very worried about the lack of attention to making child safety and wellbeing a priority. Children have not been elevated in the way that other issues have. That's why I think a Cabinet Minister for Children would really make a difference.
Back in Brisbane, Juliette Playford is sitting her final school exams. She has big plans to one day become a human rights lawyer. But Juliette knows she's already passed the greatest test she will ever face.
It would be easy for someone who's been through what you have to crawl in a hole and never come out.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
No, I feel like there's no point to give something that impacted you so much to give it power. It ruined my childhood, but I don't want it to ruin my life.
If this story has raised issues and you need to speak with someone, help is available. Call Lifeline on 13 11 14 or 1800 RESPECT, which is 1800 737 732. Hello, I'm Dimity Clancey. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.